What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be covering the top 12 deck lists from the latest FL tournament. For those of you who didn't catch it, I did a stream yesterday where I covered the semifinals and the grand finals from that event. There were some very epic moments caught on stream, so be sure to go check that out if you haven't already. Okay, so we're going to be starting off here with Phil's Blackwing list. I believe there were two of pretty much the exact same hybrid, like card-for-card main decks in top 12. So they were both on double Royal Oppression and double Nobleman and Extermination. I really disagree with both of those choices. I think Nobleman Extermination is just a garbage card that you should never play. Oppression, maining 2 is just too much, especially in the current format where there's so many decks out there that you're likely to run into that are highly unaffected by Oppression or have a million plans for Oppression. So I think it is very telling that the winning list didn't play any Oppression in the main or the side. But we'll get into that later. Otherwise, pretty standard hybrid list. Not a whole lot to say about it. Congrats to Phil for his top cut performance. Next, we have the most based list, perhaps to ever top an Edison event. This is Roghnach's Frog Hero KFC build. So I am absolutely in love with this list. I've been trying to make this hero Fusion Gate field spell pile work with the Captain Gold, the Search the Skyscraper, and whatnot. But Roghnach just took it to the whole next level here, combining it with KFC, putting in the frog package to give you some more waters and whatnot. So just absolutely crazy 48 card deck list. He's siding Clear World and Future Fusion. Just so many insanely based choices in here. I love it so much. And huge thanks to Roghnach for being crazy enough to take this deck to an event and actually do well with it. He's playing Ancient Gear Engineer. It's basically like a Unifrog sort of that you can get off of Gear Town. So just so many insanely cool choices in here. I'm completely in love with this deck list. So yeah, huge congrats to Roghnach. Next up, we've got this deck. Oh no, not this thing again. Yeah. So one of these babies snuck into the top cut. I don't know if it's exactly the same as Dimitri's list. I don't really remember Dimitri's list from Ribbit Ruler's card for card, so I have no clue if it's an exact net deck or if it's a little different or what got changed. It is playing the Symbols of Heritage level leader combo rather than the previous stuff with Thunder Dragons and whatnot. You might have to go watch a combo tutorial to understand what I'm talking about there, but there's a Brionac play that lets you draw your whole deck or something, so yeah, this is a deck that's out there in the format, always threatening to rear its ugly head. Huge congrats to AlexDaMan for being able to top with it, though. It's not actually that common that people do well with this deck, or at least well enough to reach the top levels of a major event. So yeah, hopefully this deck doesn't take over the format, though, because that would be a bad experience for everyone. Here, I think this is the highest placing X-Saber deck I've ever seen by Kapachi. So that's already an accomplishment in itself. And there's a lot of strange choices in here, I gotta say. There's 41 cards. There's random one-off D-Prison. There's 2 Raikos with 2 Hamsters, which is pretty unusual. Only 2 Fall Troll, which is really unusual for X-Sabers. Pretty much always play 3 Fall Troll. But, I mean, he is the first X-Saber player to top that I have seen in a while. So it must have done something right in here, for sure. Maybe these bizarre ratios and choices were actually genius, and I just I don't see it. I'm not super familiar with sabers, so I mean I guess I could easily be overlooking something. I think Triple Book of Moon is great. Actually, that is something. Triple Book of Moon is crazy in terms of it's being a disruption that synergizes really well with Full Helm, and then it also gets added utility out of the Hamster Raiko, so that could be a part of the inspiration behind that package. Also in Multiple Giant Rat to get to Cat, which is something I have seen before. So yeah, just an infinite chain of recruiters, of course, in here. Pretty sick list. Definitely an interesting event seeing X-Sabers top. We don't really see that too often, so congratulations to Kapachi. All right, next we got Raikoko and his Lightsworn deck list. This list is relatively standard. You know, they play a few traps. He plays 1 Reincarn with 1 Beckoning, which I think is very smart. One thing that stood out to me about this list that I thought was pretty neat was the 1 Gold Sark. That's a really funny ratio. like sometimes but not all the time applied to Gold Sark. I think it's actually kind of makes sense in a way. It's like too slow at 2, but at 1 is just right, I guess. It worked out. I think that is like a pretty cool idea. So I do like that decision. Not really sure about the random one-off Deep Prison 1 Book of Moon. I'm not a fan of like just back row choices like that, but I mean, list is pretty solid overall, I'd say. So good job, Raikoko. You managed to do well with Lightsworn. There's usually a Lightsworn player somewhere in Top Cut, just because this deck has such a crazy ceiling. So yeah, nice. Here, one of my teammates topped this event, so huge congratulations to Gia76 representing Team Crow's Nest with the bird deck. Always happy to see one of my teammates do well, even if it is with a boring deck. Just kidding. Yeah, her Blackwing list was more of the pure list. I believe there were 2 of these in Top Cut. The other one won the whole event. Spoilers. So Gia's on the Upstart Goblins. Not too uncommon to see those. It makes a lot of sense to try to dig for that turn 1 whirlwind blowout play a little bit more often. 1 oppression. I kind of like that ratio in here. I think it makes sense. 7 tools is like the craziest weird thing that she's playing. Not really sure why. I can see how in like the mirror match using it on Icarus attack maybe is like super value, but as opposed to maybe a Dust Tornado. I'm not really sure about this card though. I feel like I would just play something else, but she must have a reason to play this that's maybe not as weird and narrow as I think it is. And either way, it's great that Gia topped, so good job, Gia. Alright, I believe there were 2 of these Diva Hero lists that somehow snuck in here. I've talked before about how I think this deck sucks, and this really hasn't changed my mind whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, they topped with it, but I got to make a discussion maybe about this, and about Nobleman of Extermination. At least this build is only on 1 Gilman, okay? There's people out here playing 2 Gilman who've suddenly lost the ability to do math in the year 2023 are just killing me, okay? But yeah, there's a lot of things that I object to in this particular, like, not this particular build, but this like deck genre. However, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in this build that maybe we should comment about. First of all, the 1 Honest in the side deck with no 2nd Honest. I would love to hear the explanation behind that, because I can't figure it out. Legacy of Yada is a sick card. If anything, I would play more of this. I think this card is crazy. We need to like, especially with all these dumb Blackwing players trying to run Nobleman of Extermination, we should just play this card, honestly. This card is sick. 1 Sidra, I've warmed up to the 1 Sidra ratio a lot more recently. I used to like make fun of it, but I think it actually kind of, there's a logic to it that sort of makes sense. So yeah. I don't like Plague in these builds. I don't see any kind of synergy with Plague Spreader whatsoever. Diva's good enough, surely. So yeah. But Jokes did well with this Diva Hero list, which I don't think I could ever see myself topping with this deck. I think it's so bad. So definitely a feat of individual skill for both Jokes and the next player on the list, if nothing else. This list is like on less weird random crap, but there's also some strange things going on here. Like double Honest when Alias is the only target. There's no Cyber Dragon in the main. I guess you pretty much always get to Alias, but like you can also run out of Alias. Triple Wing Blast. You know, this is weird because the last build was playing Mali and only 2 Wing Blast. But this build isn't playing Mali and is on 3 Wing Blast. Which I guess is okay if you need to get Alias to grave for Hero Blast or something, but like, I don't know. I don't know if you should be playing this at all in here, honestly. Of course, double Gilman is the worst thing I've ever seen. God, why? Stop it. Stop it. Holy jeez. One Gilman, guys, please. One is all you need. It's fine. All right. I'm gonna chill out here. Yeah. Anyway, a lot of these decks had a ton of pre for frogs in the side. By the way, I don't know if I've been commenting on that, but yeah, a lot of people were expecting frogs going to this event. Multiple fossil dinos and multiple pulling the rugs in pretty much every side deck that I've seen. So yeah, that's to be expected. 2E call 1 oceans maybe a little, or 2E call 2 oceans a little weird. Generally, you expect 3E call 1 ocean, I think. I don't know what's standard actually, but that's what I would assume would be standard. Anyway, congratulations to Ale 1997 top in the event with Hero Beak. Good job. Now we've arrived at the final four. We've got Sam's Blackwing list. This one, I think I mentioned earlier, it's pretty much the same as Phil's hybrid list. I don't know, did these two like net deck someone like the Swedish list that like brought this nobleman of extermination cancer into the deck building community? Oh god, but yeah, pretty much everything I said about the last list applies to this one. I think the sides may be a little different. I don't remember, but yeah, they're like the exact same list. So there's not a lot of that I can really add in terms of commentary. So good job, Sam. You made it to the final four, so that's impressive. Here we have Cam's Dragon Turbo list. I think this list is basically perfect. There's nothing I would change about it. I pretty much agree with like every main deck decision, with every side deck decision. Maybe the extra, you could like find a way to trim down one of the instant fusion targets and play one more synchro or something, but space is really crammed in here, so yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a gripe with this. I think this list is perfect, so great job, Cam. Saw your games yesterday. I think you played really well. I think you built a great list, so yeah, that's all I got to say about that one. Second place here, we got near n-Vayu Turbo list. There's a few interesting things about this list here. So he's on Sork with only Raikou, which is a little unusual. Generally, I think if I was going to play the Sork and n-Vayu Turbo, I'd do the like one Sidra thing that James Arc does. And also, I think 3 Sirocco is usually a bit many. I guess maybe for the mirror match or like being up against Blackwing, Sirocco can be a great card to have, but generally I think I'd go 2-1 in terms of Sirocco Vayu. But yeah, 2 Oppression main is, again, a lot of oppression to be maining in this current format. I don't know, but hey, he got second place. I saw his games yesterday. He played really well. So yeah, big congrats to Niren, second place finish. I mean, that's a great finish. Can't really say much besides that. So, oh, you know what? One other super weird thing about this is that he's not on Cyber Dragon Fortress in his sideboard, and I just can't imagine not playing Cyber Dragon Fortress. So that's the last comment I have about Niren's build. Finally, we reach the first place deck list, which was Hydropump's Blackwing list. This list, I think, is by far the best Blackwing list in these top 12, which is supported by the fact that he won the whole event. 0 Oppression is something that I very much support. I think that card is mediocre. Maybe you should probably side it, but he didn't even side it, so I don't know. What can I say? Instead, he opted for Prohibition, which is a wild choice. I think I saw this get resolved against the Turbo list, calling Red Med, and it was completely game-winning, so that was pretty cool. Skill Drain and Fossil Dynata Pre for Frogs is really awesome. A lot of like back row hate in terms of the double Dust main, double Trap Stun sided. The Trap Stun definitely came up big in one of his matches, at least I think it did. Book of Moon is kind of weird. Do Blackwing still play that usually? I felt like they've been cutting down on that card. Compulse is a tech we're seeing more and more of, and I think it definitely has its uses in a lot of situations, but overall pretty clean list. I think Hydro had the best Blackwing list, as I mentioned, and he definitely deserved to win this event because he's a great player and he played very well. So anyway, that about wraps up the top 12 deck lists. Let me know in the comments which list you think was the best and why it was Roghnach's. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. That's all I got for today. Peace out, YouTube.